The Galactic Council Hall was never quiet. Hundreds of voices filled the massive chamber, each one belonging to a different species from across the stars. Lights from floating screens painted the air with images of burning worlds, shattered fleets, and dying suns. This was an emergency meeting. A dangerous alien force was moving through the galaxy like a storm. Entire civilizations had already been erased. Great empires, millions of years old, had fallen in days. Nothing could stop them. Fear ruled the room. One by one, alien leaders spoke. They are unstoppable. Our weapons are useless. If they reach our core worlds, we are finished. Holograms showed destroyed planets, once full of life, now nothing but ash and broken stone. Then the discussion turned to humanity. A tall insect-like being tapped its claws together. Why is Earth even here? It asked. Humans are weak, primitive, barely spacefaring compared to us. Soft laughter echoed across the chamber. Another alien, covered in shining metal scales, nodded. They fight among themselves. They lack unity. They will fall first. At the far end of the chamber sat the human representative. He was old. His hair was gray, his face marked by deep lines of time and pain. He wore no armor, no shining symbols of power. Just a simple dark uniform. He said nothing. While others argued, shouted, and begged for solutions, the human stayed silent. His hands rested calmly on the table. His eyes were lowered. Some noticed. Why does the human not speak? Asked a blue-skinned council member. Has fear taken his voice? Another mocked. The alien leader of the council leaned forward. Human representative, he said sharply. This is not the time for silence. If Earth has nothing to offer, say so. Still the human did not respond. Murmurs filled the chamber again. Silence means weakness, someone whispered. A few laughed openly now. Typical human, said one alien commander. They stay quiet because they have already accepted their end. The old man finally lifted his eyes. For a moment the room grew slightly quieter. His gaze was steady. Not angry. Not afraid. Just tired. But still he did not speak. The council leader sighed in frustration. Very well, he said. We will continue without. A sudden alert flashed across every screen. Another world had fallen. This one was close. Too close. Panic exploded in the chamber. Voices rose higher than before. Fear became chaos. In that moment, an alien historian spoke softly, almost to himself. I recognize the human's name, he said. He is not a politician. The council leader turned. Explain. The historian adjusted his data screen. He is a father. Confusion spread. What does that matter? Someone asked. The historian swallowed. His son was a deep space scientist. Part of the first team that encountered this enemy. The room grew quiet again. The boy sent a warning, the historian continued. A detailed report. He said this force could not be stopped by normal war. Eyes slowly turned back to the human. He died buying time for others to escape, the historian said. His last message was sent to Earth. No one laughed now. The human's silence suddenly felt heavier. The council leader spoke carefully. Human, is this true? The old man nodded once. That was all. The alien leader of the hostile faction leaned forward, his many eyes cold and sharp. So, he said slowly, your species lost one child and chose silence. You hide your fear well. He stood taller, spreading his limbs. Let me educate you, human. The chamber held its breath. Silence means weakness, the alien declared. And weakness will be erased. At last the human moved. He raised his head fully and looked directly at the alien leader. His voice when it came was calm and clear. Not loud. Not shaking. No, he said. The word echoed through the chamber. The human continued, his eyes unblinking. Silence means control. The room froze. For years you spoke, the old man said. You debated. You ignored warnings. My son spoke too. His hands tightened slightly. No one listened. The human stood slowly. So we stopped talking. Screens across the chamber flickered as Earth's symbol briefly appeared, then vanished. The human looked around at the stunned council. When humans are silent, he said, it is not because we are weak. He paused. It is because we are preparing. The lights dimmed. And somewhere, far beyond the council hall, something ancient and powerful shifted its course, toward the enemy. The galaxy did not know it yet. But humanity had already entered the war. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent long after the human finished speaking. Silence means control. Those words stayed in the air like a warning. Many council members avoided the human's eyes. Others watched him with new interest. Fear had not left the room, but something else had entered it: uncertainty. The human representative sat down slowly. His face showed no pride, no anger, only memory. Far away on Earth, rain fell over a quiet city. Years earlier, the human had not always been silent. He was once a man who spoke often, laughed easily, and argued passionately with his son across a small dinner table. His son was young, curious, and full of questions about the stars. "You look at the sky like it is calling you," the father once said. "It is," the son replied. "And one day it will answer back." The son grew up fast. Too fast. He became one of Earth's brightest deep space scientists. When humans first joined the wider galaxy, he was chosen to work with alien research teams. It was an honor few humans ever received. The father was proud, afraid, silent even then, but with love. The first contact with the enemy came without warning. A research fleet vanished near the edge of known space. Only one damaged ship returned. The son was on it. He was injured, bleeding, but alive. And terrified. "This is not a normal enemy," he told Earth's leaders. "They do not conquer. They erase. They learn from every fight." He worked day and night, studying fragments, signals, and broken data. Slowly, a terrible truth formed. The enemy adapted faster than any known species. Weapons failed. Shields failed. Tactics failed. The son sent his findings to the Galactic Council. Most ignored it. "They exaggerate," some said. "Human fear," others mocked. "Primitive minds see monsters everywhere." The son did not stop. His final mission was a rescue attempt near a dying star system. A civilian convoy was trapped. The enemy was close. The son volunteered. "We can delay them," he said. "Just long enough." The father watched the ship leave Earth orbit. He felt something heavy in his chest. He wanted to speak, to say something important. But the words did not come. The ship never returned. Only a message did. It was short, broken by static. "Tell them, don't fight the way they expect. Don't rush. Learn. Prepare." Then silence. Back in the present, the Galactic Council slowly returned to noise. Whispers spread. The human lost his son. "So that is why." The hostile alien leader narrowed his eyes. "Grief makes your kind reckless," he said. "You hide behind emotion." The human looked at him calmly. "Grief makes us patient," he replied. That unsettled many. Another council member spoke, voice shaking. "If humans knew this much, why did you not warn us again?" The human's answer was simple. "We did," he said. "Once." No one argued. Images appeared on the main screen: human shipyards, deep underground facilities, quiet research stations hidden in empty space. The alien stared. "These are old," said the human. "Built slowly, quietly." While the galaxy argued. The council leader leaned forward. "You were preparing for war?" The human shook his head. "We were preparing to survive," he said. The enemy fleet continued to advance, destroying another system as they spoke. Panic returned. "What will you do now?" someone asked. The human stood again. This time all eyes followed him. "We will do what humans always do," he said. "We adapt." The hostile alien laughed darkly. "You think adaptation will save you?" The human met his gaze. "It already has." Unknown to the galaxy, hidden human fleets changed course. Silent engines moved through dark space. No signals. No warnings. The father closed his eyes for a brief moment. He remembered his son's voice. "Don't rush. Learn. Prepare." When he opened them again, the galaxy felt smaller. And for the first time, the enemy was not alone in the dark. The galaxy began to burn. System by system, the enemy moved forward. Their fleets did not slow down. They did not stop to rule or occupy. They destroyed and moved on, leaving only silence behind. Ancient worlds fell. Crystal cities turned to dust. Space stations the size of moons shattered into glowing debris. Entire species disappeared in a single rotation of their suns. The Galactic Council watched helplessly. Emergency meetings became daily events. Hope faded fast. The same voices that once mocked humanity now sounded afraid. "Our fleets are gone. Our shields fail within minutes." They learned too quickly. Screens showed another great empire collapsing. Its final defense line lasted less than an hour. The council leader's voice trembled. "At this rate, the core worlds will fall within months." All eyes slowly turned toward the human representative. He remained seated. Silent. Still. A tall avian alien slammed a claw against the table. Enough, it cried. Human, your silence helped no one. If you have weapons, use them. If not, admit it. The chamber filled with angry agreement. You prepared in secret, another said. While we trusted open discussion. The human raised his head calmly. We trusted action, he replied. The hostile alien leader smiled coldly. Then act, he said. Or be erased with the rest. Another alert flashed. A nearby allied system was under attack. Panic spread like fire. Ships were too far. Fleets too weak. There was no time. The council leader turned to the human. Earth, he said quietly, can you help? For the first time since the war began, the human did not answer immediately. He stood. When my son sent his warning, he said this enemy watches how you fight. The room listened. So we asked ourselves a simple question. The human continued. What if we did not fight at all? Confusion followed. The screens changed. They showed empty space. Dark. Quiet. Then, movement. Human ships appeared. They were not large. Not beautiful. No bright weapons or glowing shields. Just dark shapes moving slowly. Where are their signals? Someone whispered. There are none, the human said. We learned silence. The enemy fleet entered the trap zone. Nothing happened. Seconds passed. The hostile alien leader laughed. This is your answer? Ghost ships. Then space folded. Gravity twisted. Enemy vessels began to slow, then stop. Their formations broke apart. What is this? A council member shouted. The human spoke softly. Delay. The enemy fired. Their weapons missed. Human ships did not fire back. They waited. The enemy adapted fast. Energy patterns shifted. Weapons recalibrated. Then the human ship struck. Not with power. With precision. Small pulses hit key systems. Engines failed. Communication collapsed. Coordination vanished. One enemy ship exploded. Then another. Panic, real panic, spread through the enemy ranks. They are not fighting us, the hostile leader said, confused. They are studying us. Yes, the human replied. Like you studied us. Within minutes, the enemy advance fleet was crippled. Not destroyed but stopped. The galaxy watched in shock. For the first time, the enemy did not advance. They retreated. Silence filled the council chamber. Someone whispered. They pulled back. The human did not smile. This was not a victory, he said. It was a lesson. The council leader exhaled slowly. You could have done this sooner. The human looked at him. And lose everything we learned? He asked. No. The hostile alien leader stood, anger burning in his eyes. You think this changes anything? The human met his gaze. It changes everything, he said. The screens showed new data, human fleets repositioning across multiple sectors. Quiet. Controlled. Ready. The galaxy realized something terrifying. Humanity was not reacting anymore. They were planning. Far beyond the council's sight, the enemy gathered its full strength. Larger fleets. Stronger weapons. They would return. But now, for the first time, they faced a species that did not rush, did not boast, and did not fear silence. The human father looked at the stars. My son, he whispered inside his mind, they are listening now. And somewhere in the dark, the enemy learned a painful truth. The galaxy was burning. But humanity had learned how to control the fire. The galaxy did not sleep after the enemy retreated. Fear still lived in every star system. But now, fear shared space with something new. Hope. The Galactic Council demanded answers. How did humans stop them? What weapons did you use? Why did our scanners see nothing? The human representative stood before them, calm as ever. We did not build louder weapons, he said. We built quieter minds. That answer confused many. So the human began to explain. Years ago, after his son's warning, humanity had made a choice. They knew they could not win a normal war. They were too young, too small, too slow. So they changed the rules. Human scientists stopped asking how to destroy the enemy. They asked how to survive the enemy. They studied patterns, not power. They built listening stations far beyond normal space. Stations that did not send signals, only received them. They learned how the enemy moved, how it reacted, how it adapted. Every attack teaches them, the human told the council. So we taught them nothing. The screens showed images of human shipyards. They were hidden inside asteroids, beneath oceans, deep under planetary crusts. No large energy spikes. No bright engines. Human ships were simple by galactic standards. No glowing armor. No massive cannons. Instead they had control. They could turn systems on and off in seconds. They could change shape, function, and role mid-mission. A reptilian council member leaned forward. These ships look weak. The human nodded. They are, he said. Individually. The next image showed human crews training. Men and women of different ages. Different backgrounds. Scientists sat beside soldiers. Engineers beside pilots. They do not fight alone, the human said. They think together. Humans trained for loss. For failure. For long silence. They learned to wait. While other species relied on perfect plans, humans practiced broken ones. They simulated defeat again and again, learning from every mistake. They prepare to lose, someone whispered. Yes, the human replied. So we do not break when it happens. The council watched in silence as the human showed another file. His son's final research. It was incomplete. Broken. But it changed everything. The enemy's greatest strength, adaptation, had a weakness. They adapted fastest to force. But slowly to absence. They do not understand enemies who refuse to act, the human said. That was why human fleets delayed instead of attacked. Why they used traps instead of battles. Why they allowed the enemy to retreat. In the dark space beyond the council, human ships moved again. This time deeper. A massive enemy armada entered a human-controlled region. They expected resistance. They found nothing. No fleets. No signals. No defenses. The enemy advanced. Then space changed. Navigation failed. Time readings twisted. Their own systems began fighting each other. Human ships appeared, not in front but behind. Small. Quiet. The enemy fired. Human ships vanished. Moments later, key enemy vessels shut down. Entire command ships went dark. The galaxy watched another enemy fleet collapse without a grand battle. The hostile alien leader slammed his fist in rage. This is deception, he roared. The human met his eyes. This is patience, he replied. The council leader spoke carefully. You are not trying to win quickly. No, the human said. We are trying to win forever. He looked at the stars. My son believed knowledge mattered more than revenge, he said. So we learned. For the first time the galaxy understood. Humanity was not fighting for dominance. They were fighting to end the war completely. Far away the enemy began changing tactics. Stronger fleets. Heavier weapons. Less caution. They were angry. That anger would cost them everything. The human father sat alone after the meeting. He held a small data crystal. His son's last message. He did not play it. He did not need to. The silence around him was no longer grief. It was resolve. And across the galaxy, human preparations reached their final stage. The enemy believed the humans were delaying. They were wrong. Humanity was ready. The enemy had never spoken to a human before. They did not see the need. Civilizations either submitted or disappeared. Words were wasted on the weak. But now, after repeated failures, after silent traps and broken fleets, the enemy asked for a channel. The request reached the Galactic Council first. They want to talk, a council member said, disbelief in his voice. The chamber fell quiet. The hostile alien leader looked uneasy for the first time. They are trying to deceive us, he said. Or study us. The human representative stood slowly. They already know how to fight us, he said. Now they want to know why. The council leader hesitated. Do we answer? The human nodded once. Yes. The communication link opened. The enemy appeared on the central screen. Tall, cold. Its form constantly shifting as if it could not stay still. We are the end, the enemy said. You delay the inevitable. The human looked at the image without fear. You are wrong, he replied. You are the lesson. The enemy's many eyes narrowed. You hide behind tricks. Face us directly. The human's voice remained calm. My son faced you directly, he said. He died. The room went silent. You killed him, the human continued. Not because he was weak, but because he tried to warn others. The enemy showed no emotion. Individuals are irrelevant. The human leaned forward slightly. Not to us. He raised a small data crystal. This contains everything my son learned about you, he said. He died so we could understand you. The enemy paused. That pause was noticed. You adapt to force, the human said. So we stopped using force. The enemy hissed. You think emotion makes you strong? No, the human replied. It makes us careful. Behind the scenes, human fleets moved into final positions. Silent. Hidden. The enemy spoke again. You delay us, but you cannot stop us. We will overwhelm you with numbers. The human nodded. We know, he said. The enemy seemed confused. We counted your fleets before you built them, the human continued. We watched your patterns. Your hunger for reaction. The screen flickered. The enemy realized something too late. The human was not negotiating. He was confirming. You came to talk, the human said, because silence scares you. The enemy's form twisted in anger. We do not fear, it said. The human met its gaze. Then why are your fleets pulling back? The enemy said nothing. The council members stared at the screens as new data appeared. Enemy formations were shifting. Hesitating. The human stood taller. You made one mistake, he said. You believed silence was weakness. The enemy roared. You killed my son, the human continued. But you also gave us time. He took a breath. And humans are very dangerous when given time. The enemy tried to end the transmission. The human spoke one final sentence. This war ended before you arrived. The screen went dark. Seconds later, alarms erupted across enemy-controlled space. Human traps activated everywhere at once. Supply lines vanished. Command nodes went silent. The galaxy watched in awe. The enemy did not scream. They retreated. Again. The council leader turned slowly to the human. You planned this conversation, he said. The human nodded. My son taught me something, he replied. Sometimes the best weapon is letting your enemy talk. The hostile alien leader lowered his head, shaken. The human father looked at the empty screen. For you, he whispered silently. Across the galaxy, the enemy began to understand. This was not a war of power. It was a war of patience. And humanity had already won the waiting game. The enemy returned with everything. This time there was no hesitation. From the dark edges of the galaxy, their full armada emerged. Thousands of ships. Massive. Heavily armed. Stronger than any force seen before. They did not hide. They did not wait. They burned their way forward. Star systems collapsed under their advance. Entire regions went dark in days. The message was clear. And the humans? The Galactic Council watched in horror. This is it, someone whispered. No one can survive this. All eyes turned to the human representative. He did not look afraid. He activated a single command. Across space, human fleets moved. Not as one force, but as many. Small groups spread across multiple systems. Each one silent. Each one ready. Humanity did not meet the enemy head-on. They surrounded them. The first battle began near a dead star. The enemy attacked with overwhelming firepower. Energy weapons tore through space. Human ships did not block. They slipped between attacks. Changed formation. Disappeared. Enemy sensors failed to lock on. Then collapse. Enemy command ships lost control. Orders stopped reaching fleets. Confusion spread. Human strikes followed. Not loud. Not dramatic. Precise. Engines failed. Power cores shut down. Navigation systems burned out. Enemy ships drifted helplessly. Impossible, the hostile alien leader hissed. They should not be able to do this. The next battle happened near a living world. The enemy tried a new tactic. Faster attacks. Stronger shields. Humans adapted faster. They learned in real time. Adjusted within minutes. The enemy could not keep up. Across the galaxy, battles followed the same pattern. The invincible fell. One fleet surrendered. Then another. Some enemy ships tried to flee. Human fleets let them go. They are learning fear, the human representative said. Let it grow. The Galactic Council could barely speak. You are dismantling them, the council leader said. The human nodded. We are ending them, he replied. Carefully. The enemy made one final push. Their largest fleet moved toward Earth. This was personal. The human father stood alone in the council chamber. He watched the stars. Human defenses activated around Earth. Not walls. Not weapons. Traps. Space bent. Time slowed. The enemy fleet lost formation instantly. Human ships appeared everywhere at once. This time they fired together. The battle was short. When it ended, the enemy's greatest fleet was gone. Silence filled space. The enemy leader appeared one last time on the screen. Damage. Fading. You were supposed to be weak, it said. The human stepped forward. We were, he replied. Once. The enemy's form cracked and vanished. The war was over. Across the galaxy, celebrations began. Species that had never known peace cried in relief. The Galactic Council stood as one. They bowed. Not to Earth. To humanity. The human father did not smile. He closed his eyes. My son, he thought, it is finished. The galaxy had believed the enemy was invincible. They were wrong. They had never faced a species that could wait, learn, and endure. Humanity had not won through power alone. They had won through silence. And the galaxy would never forget it. The war was over. Silence filled the stars. For years the galaxy had known fear. For generations, civilizations had trembled before the enemy that no one could stop. But now everything had changed. The Galactic Council convened again. This time they did not speak of fear. They spoke of humans. They did what we thought impossible, said a council member. They outsmarted the enemy. They outweighted them. The human representative stood tall. His age was visible now. Lines of grief, patience, and endurance marked his face. But his eyes burned with quiet strength. My son taught me patience, he said. And humanity taught the galaxy control. Other species looked at him with awe. Some bowed, others remained silent, but all knew the truth. Humans had not been weak. Humans had been underestimated. The council screens showed planets rebuilding. Civilizations that had fled returned to their homes. Trade routes reopened. Messages of hope spread across the galaxy. Yet not all humans rejoiced. The old father returned to Earth. His city was quiet, the skies peaceful. He walked slowly, holding a small data crystal, his son's last work. He did not play it. He only remembered. He remembered the warnings, the sacrifice, the silence. My son gave his life for knowledge, he whispered. And the galaxy listened too late. But humanity endured. A memorial was built in the city's center. Not for heroes, not for victory, but for learning. A statue of a young man, looking at the stars, hands open in curiosity and hope. Children would gather here. Scientists would teach here. And the father would sit quietly, smiling faintly, knowing that the galaxy had finally learned something important. Beyond Earth, alien species adjusted to a new reality. They no longer mocked humans. They no longer assumed strength came only from fleets or weapons. They learned that power could hide in patience, in preparation, and in silence. The hostile alien fleets had vanished, shattered, and defeated. The enemy had believed numbers, speed, and force would rule the galaxy. But humans had shown that intelligence, adaptability, and endurance mattered more. The human father stood on Earth's highest point, looking at the stars. The same stars his son had once dreamed of exploring. A soft breeze brushed his face. The galaxy was alive, rebuilding, watching. My son, he whispered, your silence spoke louder than their noise. Our silence was our strength. And in that moment the galaxy woke up. It understood a lesson long forgotten. The weakest species, the one everyone laughed at, had become the guardian of countless worlds. Humans were not invincible. They were better. They were prepared. They were patient. They were enduring. And the stars themselves seemed to bow to that quiet, relentless strength. The human father lowered his eyes, smiling. My silence was grief. Humanity's silence was patience. And now the galaxy knows. From the distant edges of space, whispers spread among the stars. A new era had begun. A galaxy awakened. And humanity stood at its center.